Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Player. Today we're doing another review, and that review is this thing. It is the FiFine K688 microphone, which was very nicely sent to us by FiFine, but in no way influenced what I think of the product. The K688 is a broadcast-style dynamic microphone that upon first glance looks very similar to the Shure SM7B, albeit at a much more affordable price. FiFine's K688 swings at around the £90 mark, which is far easier to swallow than the Shure SM7B's whopping £400 price. But the real question is, how does the K688 perform? Now, it'd be a bit silly to say that this is better than the Shure SM7B, because it's not. However, considering the price and everything else involved, it's genuinely a great alternative, especially if your budget doesn't allow you to spend like the same price as the second-hand car on a microphone. Being a dynamic microphone, the K688 is best suited to situations like podcasts where the user is the focus. The reason for this is due to the fact dynamic microphones are far less sensitive than condenser mics, requiring the user to be closer, around about 2 to 6 inches from the diaphragm, and in doing so allows them to isolate your vocals and reject background noises far better. Now, this is a dual XLR and USB microphone. So if you already have an audio interface, you can plug this straight in and away you go. And if you don't, you can also plug it in via USB-C to A cable, and it is plug and play. The beauty of this being, if you then upgrade to an audio interface later down the line, you already have an XLR microphone. So, you know, it's a win-win. However, it doesn't come with an XLR cable, so that's something to just remember as well. So in the box, you'll find the K688 and the pre-attached shock mount, a thread adapter, a USB-C to USB-A cable, but no stand, so you don't get one. It's not included, so you need to supply your own or use your boom arm, but it's something worth noting. Now, it looks genuinely really good. It looks like it's hard to deny the similarities between this and the Shure SM7B, but it has a pre-attached shock mount. The mic itself and the shock mount are both metal, with the only plastic being the absorbers on the inside of the shock mount. But it doesn't feel heavy, which is one of my only real negatives. It doesn't feel as premium as I think that it should. But you know, it's not a deal breaker. It not being heavy. I expected it to be a little more heft to it. As well as being a gorgeous microphone, there's also some features to be found when looking around the unit. Up top, you'll find the touch to use mute button. Whilst on the bottom, you'll see the XLR and USB-C port, followed with a 3.5mm headphone jack and a dial for monitoring volume, along with a gain dial. These controls only work when you are connected via USB, not XLR. If you are connected to an audio interface, all your gain and stuff will be done via that. Otherwise, if you're connected by USB, it's all done by the dials on the bottom, which I will point out, I think are the wrong way round. So the 3.5mm jack, next to that is the gain dial, whereas next to the XLR cable is the headphone monitoring volume. Surely they should be the other way around. Again, not a deal breaker, it really bothered me, and I do think they should be the other way around. Hello, it's me, Cal. I'm interrupting my own video because I forgot to do the USB section of the review, so here it is now. So we are connected via the USB-C to USB-A cable, and because it's USB, it means we've got access to all the controls on here, such as the mute button. So I'm going to carry on talking. I press the mute button again, it unmutes. It's fantastic. There is no tactile feedback to it, so you can't feel when you've pressed it. But the light is green when it's unmuted, and it is red when it is muted. And it's very easy to see it, so you shouldn't have any problems with it. I think it sounds pretty decent. I think it sounds far better via XLR, but for a USB mic, I still think it sounds genuinely very good. The pop filter, so it feels amazing. It genuinely feels, it's one of the best, like, physically feeling pop filters I've ever felt. It's like an odd velvet feel. It feels very good. However, it's also very thin on the top, so it's not the best at rejecting plosives. But I've been using this for around about a week now, and I genuinely really like this microphone. I think it's excellent, especially considering the price. My only real negative being, I think the capsule needs a little bit more distance from the grill. I think there has been a few revisions of the K688, and I think the original one had the capsule really up close to the grill. This one is more recessed, but I think it would benefit from going back just a smidge more. Give yourself a little bit more distance, but again, not a deal breaker. These are all things that you can work around yourself very, very easily. by. I'm about 3 inches away from the microphone at present. So we'll do some plosives. So podcast versus player, Peter Piper picked a pepper. It's not the worst at rejecting plosives. So with a little bit more etiquette, and an easy way to do it is just monitor yourself so you can hear how close you are to the microphone, and you can just take a little bit of a step back. Very, very easy. I really like it. I think it's well worth checking out. Speaking of checking things out, why don't you check out podcastversusplayer.com? There's even more reviews on there, and there's even a full written review on this thing, as well as this video that you're watching with your eyes right now. But there's loads more, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye!